So I am following the Cardi B trial and watching the footage of Cardi B being cross examined by opposing counsel. And it's glorious. Um, and it's very clear that she's had a lot of witness preparation from her legal team. Additionally, she's very smart. So she understands how she needs to navigate the questions. For example, calling the plaintiff security heavy instead of fat. um, but what it reminded me of is how victims of abuse misunderstand the process of trial or like deposition. And so first of all, I want to say I'm not an attorney. This is not legal advice. I am just some lady on the internet. But that said, what I have consistently seen is that victims of abuse are so conditioned to having to justify themselves, justify their feelings, justify their actions and their choices that they get into depositions with opposing counsel or they're on the stand with opposing counsel and they over explain. They give way too much information. They What you want to do is answer the question concisely without volunteering anything extra. And also, you may not even want to answer the question, sort of depending on the strategy that your legal team has come up with. So there are ways that you need to navigate the information providing process that goes against how many victims of abuse have learned to survive in the world. And the inner need to be understood, to try and get someone on your side through explaining what happened to you, being under the impression that if you explain what happened to you, this other person is going to understand and therefore a perspective take for you, therefore support you. And the thing is we see time and time again that this is not the case. A lot of the reason for this is that many abuse dynamics are really status or power conflicts in disguise. So the individual issues that a victim of abuse is getting abused over are often just whatever is available, whatever lever that will work. And if that doesn't work, the abuser will move to a different one. So understanding that it's not necessarily that the victim has done something wrong and therefore is trying to remedy that, or understanding that the abuser has an objective and they will use whatever methods they can to achieve that objective. And so when you're in a litigation environment, you are not in a friendly environment. This is not like your team, yes, friendly, professionally friendly. But opposing counsel, they're going to come in, if they're smart, they're going to come into your deposition and they are going to be so kind and make it seem like, oh, it's just this thing, we need to sit down, we just need to discuss what happened, and you just like tell me everything, and if you need a break, just let me know. And they do all of these things at the beginning to make you feel comfortable, to make you feel as if they're on your side, to make you feel that you can let down your guard. And so there's this dance that you do where everybody's cordial, everybody's friendly, everybody's professional, everyone's polite. We're all acting as if what opposing counsel is saying when they come in is correct, but it's not. Stupid attorneys. Well, no, I don't want to say that because sometimes it could be a strategy, but most cases, if an attorney is ego driven and they come in wanting to show like they're a, Billy badass, that is a terrible strategy. That puts the witness on the defensive. They're not going to get the information they want. Unless you're trying to make them like strategically go against the thing that they've said before. I'm not saying there's not a place for that approach, but it's not the one that I've seen most attorneys use. Even highly successful litigation attorneys, the best litigation attorneys I personally have ever seen, they act like they're your kindly uncle, like, or someone out in the community. Just like a sort of a gentleman, gentlewoman person engaging with you, and it's actually very effective. And there's actually some research that shows that people that are trying to get information out of a prisoner, let's say, that torture is less effective than that person sitting down and just acting as if they're your friend. So it's a tried and true strategy. So you have to keep in mind that this person is not on your team, and you're not trying to get them on your team. What you are trying to do is lay down enough information in writing. It'll be in a transcript, so it'll be in writing eventually, but enough information in your testimony, but not too much, because you don't want to undermine your case either. And so truthfully, that inner desire to over explain and to have someone understand us, and to volunteer information, not only does it not belong in your deposition, nor in your trial, but it probably doesn't belong in your life in a lot of ways either. Obviously, that's very strategy dependent, depending on where you are in your life, if you have any ability to protect yourself, you know. So I'm not saying it's not a strategy that can work, but if you've moved to a place where you can protect yourself, volunteering information is just going to be used against you. So, like, don't do it. Anyway, I hope this makes sense.